To introduce yourself, yeah.
I'm Muse. I go by Muse. And I call myself an embodied educator. I'm a dancer, I'm a writer, I'm a teacher. That. There's
A
so
little
much.
bit more, a little bit more.
I just be literally like the name I go by actually is Musebeing, because I feel like my existence is just enough, and that every day I wake up and I just try to do things that I enjoy. The things that bring me money is usually teaching. I teach a variety of things. I teach English, I teach yoga, I teach dance, I teach wellness, teach people how to connect to their bodies, to their mind, align their, inner being.
Okay, we'll dive. We'll take a dive into that. There's a lot there. There's a lot there.
That's why I
How
struggle.
about you?
I'm even over here like, wow, what am I going to say?
Yo,
Well, good stuff, man.
just have to ruin it for everybody else's intro. But yeah, so anyway, how about you?
Well, I'm Ralphy. I am a music producer. I'm also a DJ. What else? I'm a occasional model. And just another person in the world that's like just regular.
You're just living. You're just trying to live your life.
Yeah,
You're just trying to
seriously,
live your life.
Multi-passionate, multi-dimensional beings.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. Because even and that's why I was telling you guys, I normally prepare like my guests like a breakfast, but I had a feeling like they might not just enjoy what I make for my other guests just by looking at you guys. So I'm sure you get that a lot, but I think you're very expressive. But let's just get into it, because even just how I reached out to you guys, it's just because I saw I think which TikTok did I see first?
I think it was yours. The one where you got all white.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. That one, but that actually shocked me. And then I think after that I tried checking her out, because now she's in your videos, and then I'm seeing reactions from when she said it's so nice to see people who look like us on billboards. And I'm like, what are people just creating such a fuss about something like that? But then again, if you haven't traveled, I mean, that's just something that other people wouldn't understand.
Yeah,
And especially if you're coming from, let's say, where are you guys both from? Are you both from?
Well, I was born and raised in the Caribbean, so from the Dominican Republic. But then when I was around 10 or 11, I moved to New York, and then I lived there, as a teenager, and I left when I was 23, and I've been in Thailand ever since.
Really?
Yeah, so it's been like 8 years now.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Hey, how about you?
And I was born and raised in Washington, D.C. Specifically PG County, Maryland.
Pretty girl.
Pretty Girl County is what we call it. But, and when I went to university in Texas, and when I graduated, 3 days after I graduated, I moved to Thailand. And I was 21 years old, and I've been there ever since for the last 6 years. So.
Hey, how does this Thailand thing? I have never understood how it works, because I think just people, once they touch down in Thailand, they just don't come back.
Bro,
it just changes people.
Wow. I remember the feeling when I arrived. It was like this country just hugged me. It was like such a warm hug. Like everyone looked different, because everyone is Asian there.
Yeah.
But I just felt so comfortable. Like I felt like the Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
And one thing after the other one, the country literally just showed me how much it had to offer. And it's literally the place where I feel the safest. And not only in physical, but energetically, I feel at home, more than I do in anywhere else in the world.
I wonder how that feels like.
That's
I wonder.
the number one thing I used to tell people when I first moved there, especially Black people, was that this place was the safest place that I've ever felt. And I had never felt safety, ever. in my life.
Ever.
In America, where we grow up, like
Yeah.
in the cities, like
In the
in the inner
hood.
cities, in the hood, like you do not feel safe at all. Like whether or not when you were younger, it was like gangs or at school, fights,
Yeah.
things happening, just whatever happens in the hood. And then as we were growing up, cops killing people that look like us, you know,
Yeah.
it was like America's not a safe place in general.
The
For
whole
people who
racial
look like us.
tension
It's
is crazy.
terrifying. And you don't even got to do anything, you know, to feel that way. But when I went to Thailand, it was like, they don't have crime. I mean, they do, but
yeah.
like,
But it's petty crime, I'm
it's
sure.
nothing.
Yeah,
like
right?
it's nothing. People don't steal. People don't. Nobody's gonna pull a gun on you or pull a knife on you. Like that. Those things do not exist in that place. And
Or
I had
it's
never.
rare.
Or it's very rare.
Yeah.
And so it was so weird to experience. Like it literally was like a feeling of like your shoulders just like.
Just
Oh.
drop like
Just-
that.
And
Your
I'm like,
guard
that's
is,
why I
your guard
stayed.
is down, and you're just like,
Completely.
really?
Yeah.
Completely. You don't like. You never have to look back. No matter what time of the night, wherever.
You're a woman. You're anybody.
Bro.
Does not matter.
Literally, you never have to look back, and that is something that growing up,
Super rare.
bro.
Gotta be
Where
on
I'm
your
from
shit.
in the Bronx, bro,
Yeah, because I can, no, Bronx,
Be
I
on
just
your
know,
shit.
especially with stabbings all the time, people, gang fights.
bro.
Yeah.
It was a constant, even in my neighborhood where like I grew up and I had my friends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There was always something. You know, you always have to be or have your guard up or look back, and to never have to do that, like.
And this is also coming from, you have the racial tension, first of all, and then you also have people who are like you and they're trying to harm you as well. So that can be really confusing, especially when you land to a place where now you don't have to care about that.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, but when you guys make such moves, do you not miss like family, friends? It has to be crazy back at home for you to just move and you're like, you know what? Fuck you guys. Fuck you guys. Like, I'm good. I'm good.
Man, listen.
Like, is that crazy?
Personally, bro, I was tired of America. That's the reason why I left the
Sheesh.
country. It was because I remember having this feeling while I was working retail,
Yeah.
which was like the last job that I had in the country there, and just being like, "Yo, is this really what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life?" And just seeing how I just felt like I was waking up and seeing things, you know. And then when I did leave, my life was the moment I landed, or I left America, my life automatically went from like, let's say a 2 to like a 9.
What?
In terms of like, wow, enjoyment, like fulfillment, my life like automatically just went up. So yeah, of course I missed family in the beginning, but I don't know, you get used to it and like
You're just happier.
yeah.
And you build your own family abroad too. Like you start to meet other people who did the exact same thing, who left their family, left these things, and you start to realize that the people that you get to meet while you're traveling, you get to meet them as you know. And like when you're back home, people know you like, oh, that's not you. You're not into that. Or no, you're not.
Even if you're trying to grow, like people still remember you from like.
They don't let you grow.
Yeah,
you know, they
true.
keep you in a box. And so when you're going abroad, it's like I actually got to know who I was. I was like, oh, that's the kind of person I am. This is how I make friends. This is my anxieties. These are my real fears, not fears that people put onto me.
Yeah.
But this is what actually makes me anxious or whatever the case may be. Yeah.
Now I'm afraid of going to Thailand because
You might not come back.
because I did a Euro trip last year, and the same group of people, like they're organizing like a trip for April. So I'm kind of like 50-50 because we're supposed to do like Malaysia. No, we're starting with Thailand, Malaysia, and then what's the other country that people
Laos,
just go?
Cambodia, Vietnam,
No, not that
Bali.
deep.
Bali,
No,
Burma.
If it's in the same area,
it has to be somewhere close and then there's
Singapore?
Bali's in Indonesia,
Singapore?
right?
Yeah, Bali's
Singapore.
Singapore.
Singapore,
Singapore.
Singapore, yeah.
Cool.
So Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, and Bali.
Oh, that's not bad.
yeah, that doesn't
so-
sound like
so-
a bad trip.
So for like 2 weeks,
Yeah.
but there's a scheduled program. So that I'll still need to come back home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That definitely.
And 2
But
weeks
just
is
going,
rough.
but just going to Thai, I think that just sounds like somewhere where you go and you just change as a person. But even when you go there and you just land, do you think about things like finances, or that's just something that even you don't even like, you're just like, I'll figure it out there?
Well, in the
Not
beginning,
unless you guys have some patents or something in the
Nah,
States where
bro.
just millions of shillings are coming.
first of all,
We from
if-
the hood.
bro,
Hey, I was just talking with people who invented something and they're getting those residual checks.
I wish.
We're working
bro.
on it.
We were literally talking about this a few days ago. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
and we were going, having this conversation based on the comments that we've been seeing on TikTok,
Uh-huh.
and it's that I wish I can take people to where my parents live. My
Yeah.
mom lives in the projects. Now the projects is like a poor, considered a low income poor area.
I've watched enough movies and music
To
videos.
understand what
I
the
already
projects
know.
are.
Bro,
Yeah.
I already know.
That's
yeah.
literally where my family is, or some part of my family, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I saved up money. I didn't have a lot of money, but I arrived in Thailand and I didn't have a plan, you know, which I
Yeah.
don't recommend, you know, like
That's what I'm
looking at-
wondering. Because like,
I had a plan.
oh, you did?
Somewhat.
Oh, okay. Let's.
We have different stories.
Yeah,
Okay.
I arrived there as a backpacker, and I had a one-way ticket, and my plan was not to go back. My plan was to land in Thailand, stay there 3 months, and then go to Bali because I have a dream of becoming a surfer at one point in my life.
Can you swim though? Because you grew
Oh
up
yeah,
in the Bronx.
for sure.
Oh, okay.
No,
okay.
but I'm also from an
Caribbean.
island.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. True.
So yeah,
Okay,
like
yeah.
I got there, bro, and yeah, I had no plan. I was backpacking for a little while, and even though my savings just constantly kept going down.
Yeah, it's
At
deductions.
At one point, I decided like, okay, I'm gonna stay here, and try to get into the music scene as a producer, and that's pretty much what I did. And you know, I have what is considered success as a producer there.
Yeah.
Because I have, you know, songs that I produce have like millions of streams and stuff. Like literally, I literally have like as a producer like over almost 40 million streams or something like that. Like and this
No.
this happened
What?
from just me going there and believing like, okay, I'm just gonna see
nice.
what happens.
It's nice.
So I wouldn't recommend though going there with no plan.
That's a super high risk, but I think also at times, if with all success stories, like even from people who are coming from third world countries going to the States and making it, it's always like you have to put yourself in a very like almost like dark space where your brain goes blank and you reset yourself. It's like you have to figure it out right now.
Yeah.
Or however, by all means necessary. Of course, like, 50 says, get rich or die trying. Yeah.
I mean, we're still trying to get rich, you know.
No, but I'm just saying, like, it's just figuring it out.
Yeah.
Because, you have to feed yourself at the end of the day. You have to pay, like, probably rent and everything.
Bro, and I just want to, before that, I want to put
Hey,
this out there.
yeah.
Yo, I was broke many times. Many times I've had 20 baht, which is less than $1 in my pocket.
Less than $1.
Less than $1 in Thailand, multiple times.
That's
And-
impossible.
No, I am telling
Because
you.
what do you do with that then?
I literally,
Community.
well, honestly, at that point, I remember, because it has happened multiple times,
Yeah.
just trusting. Somehow, some way, just having trust in that, like, things are going to work out. Thankfully, I had friends that I had met throughout my travels there. And one good friend let me stay with him in his apartment. And he lived in this really nice place. And he had another room that I can stay in. So I stayed with him.
Nice.
So I didn't have to pay rent, but I just had no money. I'm also not the type of person to like ask people for money, so I wasn't asking anyone for help. I was still like hustling, trying to go to the studio to make beats, not getting any money, but just being like, okay, fuck it. Like, this is what I got.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been, literally I've been at the
That's-
lowest point so many times.
Yeah, a one-way ticket for me, I can guarantee you I'll be homeless for a while. For sure. For sure. That I know for a fact. So it's scary because even when nowadays I'm always asking people, because I always talk about finances a lot. Like even with investments, whether it's in crypto, like I show in the States, you have like your 401ks and all those other platforms, but quite a lot. But I always talk about like, so when I have guests at times who are slightly, let's say younger, probably like in their 20s, early 20s, and I'm always asking them about finances, and I'm like, most will just say like, I don't know, I'll figure it out. And I'm always in shock. I'm like, yo, you can't do that in Kenya because, we don't have government assistance here.
Right.
So practically, if you don't plan ahead of time, like in such developing countries, for sure, for a fact, you're homeless. Gonna starve to death.
Yeah.
So I think like even just in other places where you can land and still try and figure something out, that's like a blessing, almost like a blessing.
Yeah, and also just the people that I had around me. Like, my transition into living in Thailand was really, it was different because I was a backpacker. I was backpacking around the country, and I went from a backpacker to then I'm hanging out with some of the most famous people in the country. But I'm still having this mentality of like a backpacker, and then I had to switch into,
because that's where you are, and you're just trying to switch.
Exactly. So that was really interesting because again, there was a period of like really nothing happening. Just being. I remember I used to go to the rooftop of my friend's building where he lived every single afternoon, and I would just like sit there and just watch the sunset. And every single day, I would just literally, it was almost like a prayer, and I would envision myself producing for people, just being successful. And this lasted, I don't know, like a month. And within a month, I've met like a group of artists. And next thing you know, I produced one, like their biggest song. The first song that I produced for them was like the biggest song they've ever had. And it like blew up in like Thailand and stuff. And like, so next thing you know, I'm like a regular backpacker kind of guy. And then next thing you know, I'm hanging out with the most famous people in the country, so that was really like such a weird transition. And I still didn't have any money, like I'm hanging out with these people, but I literally.
Your finances, they're not coming through.
Broke,
they're not coming through.
Man, that time was just so interesting, but it was fun. But
I think the best part, maybe if I'm wrong, you can correct me, being in such a place like Thailand, it's like the material lifestyle is not really pushed out. So even like, let's say, even if you have money issues, probably somebody wouldn't be able to pinpoint or just rub it on your face like, you don't have money or anything.
Nah.
Yeah, because everybody could be chilling, maybe just a T-shirt and some shorts, rolling around. So, you can just chill. But if you're somewhere, let's say like Miami, I'm sure you can't hack because it's the lifestyle, it's the Lamborghinis, it's like, the popping bottles.
Yeah.
Sections. So I think that would be like too much pressure, but somewhere where you just have space to grow and people are just authentic because they like you. Like you say, people enjoy and like you for just being you. And
that helped a lot because people genuinely really helped me. Like one of the artists that I was producing for, he had a clothing brand. He would give me just free clothing all of the time. Like I can take whatever I wanted at any point. New shirts came out, he's like, yo, here. Like
how's that clothes?
So I never had to worry about that. Other people would always try to point me to like the right opportunities. So I started doing like photo shoots for like street brands there. So I would get a little bit of money and also more exposure and stuff. So everyone like always tried to help me a bit. And one guy, which I feel like he was the biggest help, one day, he's a pretty famous artist there. And one day we were at his place and I was playing him some beats and stuff. And he was like, yo, bro, I'm gonna tell you the truth. There's no money in this business. Like, as a beat maker, you're not really gonna make that much money. Is there anything else you can do? And he's like, do you want to be an MC at the club, kind of thing? And I'm looking at it, I'm like, I'm kind of shy. I like a bunch of years before that, I was like a hype man for a friend, and I didn't like that at all. It was like I just didn't like being like the center of attention, kind of thing. And then he's like, do you DJ or do you know how to DJ? No, he was like, what about DJing? And I'm like, ooh, my brother used to do it, and I watched him do it, so I kind of knew a little bit. And next thing you know, he goes in his closet and hands me a controller and goes, here. And literally that changed my life.
Changed your life?
It literally changed my life. It was like one of the biggest blessings I had was this guy literally being like, just...
Hey, okay, so now, of course, we can't just let her just be. I want more. I want more of that story, but we'll have to go back to it.
Yeah.
So you, where did you bump into her as we introduce her so that she can just give us a little bit of a background?
Well, We met.
In the States?
No, we met in Thailand, but we didn't. I didn't meet her until 3 years ago. So that's how long we've been dating. It's only 3 years, but she's been there.
Why
6
are you
years,
laughing?
You know? So
Since we met, I mean, since we met, we've literally been together. I guess since we met.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Since you met?
Yeah.
since like the first time this first date.
Like you met and that was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's special. I think even like finding love in Bali is definitely different from finding love anywhere else.
Yeah,
Right.
it was very unique because again, we're also. I mean, in the U.S., the U.S. is a huge country, but we're both from the Northeast, and that's kind of like you can be from the South, you can be from the West Coast, the East Coast, the Northeast, and we're from a place that is quite similar. New York and D.C. are very similar, slang, very similar, just areas, and so when I met him, it was like. Whoa, in Thailand? Like somebody who's like,
Like,
similar, you sound like me, like you have the
Yeah.
same mannerisms as me. Like that was just mind blowing. And then also to meet someone who had been there quite as long. I mean, he's been there 2 years longer than me, but he had been there a really long time.
Yeah.
He also hadn't gone back to America since. So I was like, oh, you're not like you don't miss your family that much. I also don't miss my family that much. So it's like we both kind of were
It's like, yo, me too.
yeah. And most people, most foreigners go home often. We're going home regularly. But
like a seasonal thing, kind of.
Christmas or the holidays. But like, I was not about to spend money to go home. And and I guess you were struggling at this time.
no.
So let's figure out like how do you just wake up one day and move to Thailand? I just want a little bit of a backstory so that
Yeah. So I studied in Texas at a university there, and by the time those 4 years was done, I was so burnt out.
What were you studying?
Not even that. I mean, I was pre-med originally, neuroscience. What? Yeah, I wanted to be a psychiatrist.
What?
Which I kind of still turned out doing, helping people, with their mental health and things like that. But I wanted to go to med school to be a psychiatrist and neuroscience. And my mom is one of them. You had two options, lawyer or doctor. So, that was my path.
Yeah.
My parents, they have degrees. They're very, they've studied and they work. They still work till this day in their 60s. So it was go to school or
traditional
go to
parents,
school.
proper ones who just want like, the formal work they know.
Formal success.
Pen, paper, and,
Yes.
white collar.
But midway, about 2.5 years into college, I changed my major because I was so depressed, genuinely. I was taking things that you're not supposed to take, like I was just really depressed, like medical.
What do you mean? First of all, this is a podcast where like people, they'll start asking me, what is she talking about? If you can share that is, of course.
I mean, they assign these things for people that have Adderall, that have ADHD. So at my school, in my university, these people were selling it to students who are stressed. It helps you focus. But this is something they give people who have ADHD. This is a proper, normal thing that you give people who need to...
They actually need it.
Need it. But the people who are getting prescribed it at the school were not taking it. They were selling it to the students who were engineer majors, law majors, medical school majors and stuff. And I was like, yo, what? I'm doing this shit that the white people doing? You know what I mean? I'm stressed. I'm overwhelmed. I'm sitting in the library for hours on end, memorizing things, not eating. I was not in a good space. And I was like, you know what? I can't keep doing this. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to change my major. So I changed it a couple times, but I landed on the final thing that I ended up graduating with was a journalism, public relations, marketing degree. And I didn't tell my parents, I didn't tell anybody that I changed my major.
They didn't
know? No. Because
wait, did
doctor
they know
or lawyer, that was the only option.
Hey, do they know right now?
Oh, yes, now they know.
Okay,
they know what I
okay.
graduated with now. But they found that out my senior year by that point, But I was so happy. The last year of college, wow, I had a great time. I was enjoying studying. I started teaching yoga while I was in university. That really changed my life as well. And by the time I got to my senior year, I was like, man, I don't want to work. I can't go work. All my friends, and that's not normal. In universities in America, we don't do gap years. We don't do, it's what agency are you working for? What company are you working for?
As soon as you're done, you have to be...
immediately.
Okay.
So my friends are all doing that. Like, where are you gonna work? And I'm just sitting on my friend's couch one day, and I'm like, man, I'm not doing nothing. Like, I asked my parents. My only thing that I asked them for, I was like, can you buy me a plane ticket to Morocco and Spain? I want to go travel to Morocco and Spain. That was it. That's all I knew. So I wanted to go there. Then, like 2 weeks before I'm about to graduate, because I'm a PR journalism major, so we're the only people that read the school newspaper.
Yeah.
So I'm reading the school newspaper from my university, just online at my friend's house. We're listening to music, smoking, chilling, whatever. 2 weeks till graduation, mind you. And I'm on there, and it's like, go teach at this place in Thailand at this school, and blah, blah, blah. And they'll like pay for you to go there and all this stuff. And I was like, whoa. And they have a little interest meeting, and it says that they have 2 spots open. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to this meeting. So I emailed the lady, and I go to the meeting, and it was some crazy stuff. Like, the whole trip was booked. One girl, her mom got cancer. She found out literally that day. She pulled out. The girl that was on the wait list before me didn't show up to this interest meeting, so I got the spot.
So automatically, it was
literally like
meant to be.
Divine alignment. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Because we didn't find out till in the meeting. Mind you, in the meeting, I'm still going to be a wait list person.
Yeah.
And then this girl, her mom just so happens to get cancer that day.
Coincidentally.
She finds that, like, it was just insane. So I find this out, and I go home to my friend, and I'm like, yo, I just got this opportunity to go to Thailand. Like, should I do it? Like, I don't know. Like, what? I don't know anybody in Thailand. I've never been there. Like, what?
50-50, you're not sure. Like, should I not?
Yeah, like, I was about to go to Spain. Like, what?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, wait, what is going on? I was going to go to Spain and Morocco, come back after summer, and go work for some corporate company, you know? And I decided to do it. Told my parents, and they was like, no. Like, what?
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what are you talking about? You're not going to Thailand. And eventually, it was rough. It was really rough last 2 weeks of my senior year. Like, fighting with my mom and just a lot of stuff. But I finally decided, and I was like, you know what? I had $1,000 in my bank account. And I took all that money, and I gave it to that lady to buy the flight, because they were going to reimburse us later on for that flight. But we had to buy our flight to Thailand.
Oh, use your own money.
And the flight was about $1,000, because we had to leave within 2 weeks. Because schools in Thailand start May 15th is like their first day of school. And I graduated May 12th. So it was like we had to go quick, and the flight was last minute.
Yeah.
Mind you, everybody else in the group had already known about this Thailand
program.
This program, yeah. So they had already known. I was the only person that was like within the last 2 weeks. So I'm like, wow, I got to buy a flight. It's expensive, all these things, and nobody wanted to support me. My parents
were
supporting.
That's with the last money that you have.
All of the money I had. And my dad, who is retired military, he's lived in Korea, he's lived in Japan, he's been to Thailand. So he was like, you know what? My graduation gift, his support was, here's $1,000. So he basically reimbursed my flight. He wasn't supportive per se.
He was just like, you know what?
This is what you want to do.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you not to go do this, but here you go. Like, that was my graduation gift. So he helped with that way. And then I flew to Thailand 3 days later, not knowing anybody, not knowing anything, to become an English teacher. Mind you, I studied PR, and I was supposed to be a doctor. So I've never taught English a day in my life.
Crazy.
So I go to this school, and now I'm an English teacher, and these kids are like, and I'm just like, what? I've never done this a day in my life. But in Thailand or in Asia, it's quite easy. It's to become an English teacher, especially if you come from what they call the Big Five.
Oh, yeah.
Which is
States,
also
UK
very racist.
Probably.
South Africa's included, but no other African
Africa's
country is
included.
included. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, South Africa is definitely white.
But I'm saying, like, Nigeria speaks English, Kenya speaks English. Like,
we are not put in that category
I know,
at all.
but
there is no way we're in that conversation.
Yeah,
so,
but it's some BS to that.
But I understand what you're saying, yeah.
So, again, they send out fresh out of, as long as you have a bachelor's degree, doesn't matter what it's in,
Just
you can
teach
English in Thailand.
That's nice.
And I moved there, and so I had a job, and I was working, and it didn't pay that much, but like English teachers from a foreign country, especially from the Big Five, we get paid more than local teachers do, which is also a thing, an issue, but you do get paid more than them.
You know, you can receive and donate the money if you want.
Yeah, so you can live quite comfortably as an English teacher in Thailand.